We are on. We've been on for a while. We're so on. I had coffee and it's just starting to kick in, and woohoo, we are on. My friends, thanks so much for joining us. We are here tonight on this auspicious night, Thursday night. Well, right now, they're like every Thursday night is pretty auspicious around here. We are playing Lord of the Rings 5e, a wonderful game by Free League. And as with so many games, it's a game that gains a lot by being played with a whole bunch of absolutely amazing people. And so I've gone out into the wilds and I have lured a very, very nice selection of awesome people to play this game with me tonight. And here they are. Like magic.
That sounds like you're getting ready to kill us all, just so you know.
Would I do something like that?
I immediately got anxiety. I think my watch just alerted me that my heart rate is at 167. Okay.
My work here is done. Thank you so much for joining me, you and all your accelerating heart rates. I absolutely appreciate you being here, playing this lovely little game with me here tonight. How about we go around the table and you can tell these wonderful people watching us who you are and who you're playing tonight, and we'll see what comes of it. We'll see if you're still playing those characters by the end of the night. I am kidding. First off, Aaron. How you doing, Aaron?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good. I'm Aaron Baumier with Adventure Sling Productions. Happy to be back for another round of Drefa, who did get seriously injured last round. She pulled herself together, but it was not looking good. So try to avoid that going forward.
Your beard is now a little lopsided because part of it got chopped
really
off.
Messed up the braid here. Yeah. Gonna fix that.
The dangerous life, the life of the adventurer, the treasure hunter.
It's true.
Well, thank you, Aaron. Thanks so much for being here. Super appreciate it. And we'll see if we can make that beard grow back. It does look pretty amazing on you. Next up, the bagpiper from hell.
Bagwild.
I have, please, ladies and gentlemen, wild round of applause for Erica Bagwild on the win. How you doing?
For Chad, who's curious, I was bagpiper for about 10 years before I got injured and have been unable to play for the past 15 years. But it was fun while it lasted, and it's a fun fact to tell people. But I am Erica Onduin, and I am playing Daywin, who is an elven warden, occasionally turned fox.
Yes, that's a brand new development. You're branching out. You're branching out in your career as an adventurer. You're not a fox. Yeah. You know, fox make great hats. That's all I'm going to say about that. Make great hats. Speaking of fantastic hats, someone who's absolutely not wearing a hat right now, the myth, the legend, always down to clown and never wears a frown, is Beth.
Oh, hi. Glad to be here.
No problem.
Well, tonight I'm going to be playing Irving Burroughs, who is a Hobbit messenger. And I'm really excited to see where this takes us tonight.
What kind of messages does Irving move around?
It's like old-timey smut, like sexting back in the day. So
wow, that was something. I like to tell my students the story of how Robert Browning and Elizabeth Barrett fell in love and how he courted her basically by mail while she lived in the islands. And I mean, imagine that you write a letter and then it's like months before you hear back from them. Like, imagine the anxiety. Plus, the sexting would
so much anxiety.
Yeah.
What are you wearing? And then you wait. And wait.
Well, currently
times.
Seasons change in between.
This day in the winter, I shall be cloaked in the following.
Fox hat. Speaking of being clothed, someone who is clothed right now, and in his little cubicle, the cubicle of power, the cubicle of tie power. Dungeon Master Tie.
That is I, Dungeon Mr. Ty. You know, I always thought vellum sounded like a sexy word.
Which of vellum?
Yeah. And now I know why.
Why?
Old-timey sexting.
Oh.
Oh,
Because for a
Anyway.
second there, I thought you were referencing Venom, the black metal band. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. But
No, we're off the
Spider-Man's
music.
villain?
In his language.
I'm off the music talk now.
Villain.
I am Dungeon
No,
Master
Erica,
Ty.
not Spider-Man's nemesis. You were saying, Ty?
Just vellum. And then
Vellum.
that I am Dungeon Mr. Ty. And I'm playing Sandwolf, Ranger of the North. And a man of seriousness.
Yep.
Except when drawing.
But he's
It's a good
learning.
time to relax. Mhm.
He's learning.
Yes.
Stick figures now, but by the end of this adventure,
Barrel bellies. I'm up to barrel bellies on the horse.
barrel bay.
Nice.
I mean, you know, some people just have it, and you have it.
Other than
My
that,
new safe word is vellum. Yes, you were saying?
no.
Speaking of vellum, well, no, not speaking of vellum, because we're done speaking of vellum. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We will jump into this very, very shortly. Here's a couple more shout-outs to do before we throw down with this little game. I'm going to shout myself out. My name is Bleakseason. You can find me sort of everywhere, but mostly here, doing this, playing with my friends, and I can't do it without my pal Andy, who is producing tonight, as with every night, pushing some buttons, you know, starting the stream when we're all on screen, and you know, just the regular stuff going on here in Andy's house of mysteries. Thank you, Andy, for being here and producing the show. Always a good time working with you. Tabletopaudio.com are purveyors of fine tunage on, you know, within the TTRPG world, certainly the equivalent of ECDC, purveying some fine tune, always dependable, always some new stuff coming out. We absolutely love them. This game that we're playing, Lord of the Rings, role-playing for 5e, is a game by Free League Publishing. We love Free League Publishing, and is a 5e port of their excellent One Ring game. Whichever one you choose to play one of them, because, you know, D&D, that's over. That's passé. We have moved on to other things around here. We are the Guild Superior. If you would like to get in touch with us, hang out, maybe play some games, post some coffee memes. That's basically what we do. Play games, post coffee memes. That's kind of our brand. The info's popping up. Please feel free to say hi, come in and hang out with us. Should you want to, you may wish to get involved in the game and help out the players by donating bits. For 100 bits, you can buy the player of your choice an inspiration for an advantage, which is always very useful to have. You can move on to the next one, Andy. Actually, I'm not going to use any maps by anybody but me tonight, so don't worry about it. The other map shoutouts, if you've already done them, no biggie. Solution and ad maps deserve all the love we can give them. All right. With that said, y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Betcha.
All right, let's get bag wild in here. Last game, several things happened last game. First of all, you, along with your patron, Arianthi, managed to infiltrate this crypt where the Headless Cross cult was in the process of attempting to resurrect, if you will, the body of a once already undead bear shapeshifter named Wenloth Elfeater, in order to possibly put the spirit of one Thazankel inside that body. You interrupted their progress because you're heroes. That's what you do. In the process, you managed to recover this item called the Twilight Key. The Twilight Key being a sort of necromantic artifact that allows for the storage of someone's soul in it. So you managed to get your hands on that. However, once you got it, it was already empty, as Thazankel has somehow managed to escape his ancient prison. Hey, Insomnia Night RPGs, thanks so much for dropping in. We love the Insomnia Night around here because we all suffer from insomnia. Thanks, Marco. After the fight, where unfortunately your friend Daywin got savaged by Wenloth, there was a bit of a strange explosion that occurred, some sort of weird arcane explosion. When you came to, you had discovered that Daywin had transformed into a silver fox. Now, as it transpired, it seems that Daywin may or may not, in some way, shape, or form, be related to an ancient race of elves that came to Middle-earth way, way, way long ago, who had the ability to change into foxes. However, in exchange for this gift, they did not have the normal immortality of the elves. In time, they had special bracelets made for themselves, which is something that Daywin had, a bracelet of a fox that negated their ability to shapeshift, but gave them the immortality of the elves. Now, you still have the bracelet. It is kind of mangled and banged up. And you have discovered that Daywin is now forced into a strange cycle that she cannot control, where during the day she is her elven self, and at night she becomes a silver fox. Thanks to Arianthe, you heard of the existence of a sage of some sort named Ulfrith in a city called Eskerdale, somewhere out in the Everdim. I don't want to say Everdim, Evendim Hills. But the village itself is said to be a strange place that is kind of very difficult to find. However, your good friend Senwolf knows some rangers in the area that he feels may be able to help. A couple of rangers of the north named Aaron and
Banion.
And so you have decided that while Arianthe pursues the leader of the cult and possibly Thazan Kelsol, that you will try to help your friend Daywin figure out what to do with this newfound condition that she has. And so you have decided to travel west into Evendim and try to find this Ulfrith person. That about sum it up. That about covers it, I would think. That's about where we are. Any questions before we... Good to go. All right.
None from me.
My friends, if you would look at the map that is laid out for you here on Owlbear 2.0. Pro tip, if you're using Owlbear, download the app and use it on the app so you don't have to have a Chrome window open when you use it. You will be heading, no, you will not be beheading anyone. You are here, somewhere around here, and you are trying to reach the foothills here. These hills are where the rangers that Senwolf knows live, somewhere in there. You're pretty confident that once you get into the area, you'd be able to find them. However, you have to get there. So let's travel. I have asked the players to give me an idea of what road they wish to take to get there. This is what they've chosen. Are you all in agreement with this?
Yes.
You're going to trust
Yeah.
your fate to Senwolf's hands?
Been all right so
I
far.
think so.
With that question, now I'm not so sure.
Well,
That
too
was-
late now. Too late now.
That was phrased in a weird way. But
Well,
I'm
so
not
far-
going to metagame.
So far, I've only let myself down.
Oh,
Oh, don't be so hard on yourself. All right, as you know, the rules for traveling call for each of you to fulfill a specific role. There's the role of guide, who's in charge of all decisions concerning routes, rest, and supplies. There's a role of the hunter, who's in charge of finding food in the wild. There's a role of lookout, who's in charge of keeping watch, and a role of scout. Now, I will assume that you will be traveling exclusively by day so that Daywin can participate. Daywin, when you transform into the fox now, and we'll get more into it a little bit later, but now you have control
yay.
of yourself. You have control of the fox. You can do things. But you could still help with certain of these things, but it would be very difficult to communicate back if you ended up anything. So I think a lot of you will probably want to mostly stick to traveling during the day to avoid sort of any issues like that. So with that in mind, who would like to take on which role?
I shall stay with the
Well,
guide.
Yeah, I enjoyed the scout last time, but I'm willing to take any.
You were pretty good at the scout. You found
I'll
all
do
these.
scout this time. I'll trade you.
Okay.
You
Nice.
found all these shortcuts that Sunwolf didn't know about.
So that being said, then, do you want to hunt or look out?
I am not a hunter, but I could try if you wanted to be a lookout.
No, I'm happy to hunt. That's all right. with
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be the lookout then.
Okay. And away we go. As before, let's figure out what kind of weather you're going to get. Mr. Guide, Sunwolf, if you could, please give me a D4 roll.
Is that 4?
Or, unfortunately, as soon as you set out the next day, you are set upon by a very sudden gale of snow that covers the entire area with frost and beats at you with unrelenting snow throughout the day. I will require all of you to give me a Constitution saving check. Now, if you have with you in your equipment any sort of
Shenanigan?
I'm looking for the word, I need an English teacher, any sort of blankets or anything like that, like anything that would sort, you can roll it with advantage, otherwise it'll be a straight up
We
Constitution
have
check.
blankets. I think I actually ended up adding like a bedroll and stuff.
You sound like a chipmunk.
Yeah.
What is happening?
I think it's just maybe a different
What
mic
the
that's picking you
heck?
up. There you go.
Yeah,
You're
some
back.
other mic was
That-
picking up. That was weird.
It was, I'm like,
That was great.
is they doing a new thing now where she has the voice of a child, but no.
No, it's the fox voice.
Yeah.
That is my
Yes,
Fox
it
voice,
was.
and I ruined it.
Oh. Okay, we'll pretend.
Forget you
everyone-
ever heard it, okay?
No, yeah. You didn't hear
I worked
me.
really hard on that.
Oh, I was just
And it's
I was
great.
just joking. Yeah, good job. Well, look, it was perfect.
It was wonderful. I can't wait till we have a scene with the fox.
Okay, moving on.
Constitution saving checks of 14, please.
But I was so clever with my gear, and I picked nothing to protect me from that weather.
Oh, I have a modifier of 1. 13.
Mm. Also, a reminder: you all have one inspiration on hand at every game,
Wow.
and if you have leftovers that were bought for you in other games, you have those also.
I have 2, and this is not the time.
So, just take
Oh,
note.
but I rolled a 1.
All right. You rolled a 1. You get horrible cold. So this is what's going to happen. Whoever, keep note of if you succeeded or failed. Whoever the next event happens to, if you failed this saving throw, you'll be at disadvantage on the other roll. And as for you, Drifa, unfortunately, this cold will follow you for several days. So for the next 2 events, if you get chosen, you will have to be at disadvantage as you are sneezing and just this snot factory, and you have this sore throat, and you're just trying to sort of keep your head on straight, but it's never fun.
Is
Too
it-
real, man.
Nothing
Reason I try to
medicine
stay over
wise could
Hmm?
help. No medicine rolls or anything could help.
Tenwolf is an herbalist. I'll put together concoctions as best I can to help.
And I'll make
Wow.
soup.
Right.
Also, I got a natural 20 for 22. I don't want that to be lost on anyone, because it might be the last one I see.
Wow.
All right, I'll tell you what. Go ahead, Sunwolf, and give me a medical roll, a medicine check. I will give you the same DC, so 14.
All right. Well, the good news is I'm
Looks like
proficient.
Erica's got the cold now.
You rolled a nat 1 and gave me the cold.
13.
13. All right. So unfortunately, you feel it was the DC of 14 as with the check. So nothing you give Drifa, unfortunately, helps her. And her beard is just matted in like this frozen snot. It's really
Can
tough.
I help with my soup?
No, we've tried helping once.
Okay.
Emotionally,
It's
yes.
good soup.
Emotionally it helps. All right. My friend the guide, you will give me a travel check. See how far you can get before something happens to you. Your travel check, because of the snow, will be at a 1 penalty. It's not
I rolled a 19 for 21 for a dirty 20.
So that's pretty excellent. You succeeded. So the event will only occur 3 hexes in. So you started here. 1, 2. So near Fornost is when the first event occurs. Because you are so close to the village, whoever has to make the roll, I will give you advantage since you're near Fornost, and if you were in trouble or something, you could get some help there. So if you would give me a D3 roll, Mr. Guide, to see who will be affected. 3, the hunter. My friend Drifa, unfortunately.
For special time.
Yeah. You will need to give me first a D20 roll.
It's like a flat D20.
Just straight up D20, yeah.
How about a 4?
You rolled a 4?
Yeah.
All right. Now I will need you to give me a wisdom hunting roll. Now, because of your cold, it is a disadvantage, but because you were close to Fornost, I said you would have advantage, so it will be a flat hunting roll.
Flat hunting roll. Okay. That's gonna be +3. How about 9?
Well,
Slowly getting up.
You
in
and
my
your
rolls.
dad have switched.
Yeah.
slowly getting up there, but unfortunately, as you travel, because of this snow that sweeps in and gives you the cold, but also kind of demoralizes everyone, it's just a bad omen for this entire trip. And as you're experiencing it, traveling for a few days in this kind of snowy condition, you kind of get the feeling like it's maybe not a completely natural storm. There seems to be something almost malevolent behind it, something tainted behind it, as if there were powers beyond your control that were attempting to slow you down or impede your movement. So everyone in the company will have to give me a charisma saving throw. You do not have to apply your disadvantage to that, Drifa, and this is a saving throw against shadow. So if you have a bonus on those, please apply it.
18 for Senwolf.
17 for Irving.
Also 17.
4.
Are you rolling D20s or D6s?
Yeah, I think so. It's got enough sides.
Everybody else, you kind of managed to put it out of your mind, sort of focus on the journey ahead, know that this is just some random, weird, natural occurrence, nothing you can do about it. Drifa, unfortunately, because of the cold and all that, you start kind of to despair and to kind of feel really down about it, and you see it as a very bad omen. On top of that, there's other things. You're maybe worried about what's happening with Daywin, and all those things are kind of hovering around you. So I will roll a D3. You unfortunately take 2 shadow points.
Oof.
How many are you at?
I'm at 3 now with that.
Right.
Okay.
So you do have still the benefit of your patron. If you want, you can spend a fellowship point to reduce that by 1.
Those have reset.
Those have reset back to 6.
That's right. May I use one then? Fellowship?
3 is just it's getting to that dangerous close line. We don't
And
want to
so
reach.
this is where
Ratings
the
are going
soup comes
today.
into play, because that night, as you're sitting around the campfire, just being snotty and grotty and just kind of feeling terrible and feeling the doom settle into your window, Dewin appears with a nice bowl of warm chicken soup, and that does just the trick to sort of lessen the gloom a little bit. And so, yes, you manage to shave off
Oh.
one of those shadow points.
I
Could someone
appreciate
make-
that she remembered that I hated the snow.
She knows, she remembers. So does Pepperidge Farm. Could someone make a note for me, please? Just write down fatigue +2. And we'll see what that's all about. You continue your travels, now leaving Fornost behind. What kind of weather do you get into, my friend? Guide. Give me a D4.
Little clearing? 3.
3, the snow that has been beating down on you turns into heavy rains, melts the rest of the snow, but really just drenches you all from head to toe. Please go ahead and give me your travel check, my friends, also with a 1 penalty.
15.
15, excellent. So you make the roll. Your next event occurs 3 hexes later. 1, 2, 3. By this point, you are you can see the river, the Brandywine River, up in the distance, that swooshes down towards the south of Eriador. And you know that within a day or so of travel, you will reach the river and will have to ford it. However, for now, you will need to give me a D3 roll. Guide.
Uh-oh.
1.
1, the scout this time. Scout will be affected, which I believe the scout is Daywin.
It is.
Give me a D20 roll, Daywin. So your cold has passed by this point, Drifa. You are now officially over the cold, or enough that.
I got
Yeah, what?
a nat 20.
As you approach then the Brandywine River, you look ahead, and not only do you see this majestic river flowing down in front of you, but you see rising up further as the clouds begin to part and the rain lessens a little bit. You see the ruins of the towers of Anuminas, the city of the first men, and knowing that you're on the right path, you Dingalos, it's right there ahead of you. It's still several days' journey ahead, but seeing that sight does fill you with at least some hope that regardless of what's just gone past, what's just happened to you with the snow and all that, that you are on the right track and are making good time and approaching. Everyone in the group gets 1 inspiration. I will, however, let you trade that inspiration to erase a shadow point if you want instead.
Ooh.
We have
I'm
to
at
decide
s-
now.
I'll take that.
I think I'm at technically 0 shadow, unless no, I think you gave some shadow to me.
Oh, I have cleared shadows. So.
Yeah, you do get shadow. You unfortunately, whilst your part of you is locked up in that little box, you will accrue shadow, but I'm not going to be mean enough to give you shadow sort of every day, but I will ask you to give me 2 charisma saving throws.
Oof. Okay. 10 and 8.
All right, so you take 2 shadow points over the course of
Shouldn't
these
have said
past few
anything.
days, just from your part of your life force being locked up in this unfortunate box. I will say that you actually, emboldened by the sight of Anuminas ahead of you in the Brandywine River, that you decide to push on and will in fact make it all the way to the edge of the river before you stop to take a well-deserved rest. You having pushed hard and having still managed to get here on time, you perhaps decide to take a full day's rest to recover a little bit. Some of you are still sort of wounded from your experiences in the the crypt. I will say that you find very good shelter near the river. You find a bit of a hollow. There's like a copse of trees, like these massive trees, and one of them has this little big hollow inside. You clear it out. There's nothing dangerous around. You realize that there are not really any dangerous animals in the area. So I'll say you manage to kind of build yourself a little sanctuary and give yourself a long rest, equivalent of a long rest. Now, in this area, healing up all your wounds, recovering any powers that you have used, and you will make camp for a full day. We'll say you spend a full day and night here, sort of getting some good rest and trying to figure out how you're going to cross the Brandywine. So let's do that. Let's take a few moments here to sort of see what everyone gets up to during that day. I would certainly suggest that some of you start trying to figure out how you're going to cross the Brandywine. There is no bridge here, but let's see if it's fordable, and let's see kind of what you can do with that. And then if there's anything else that you guys would like to take some time to role play or so on and so forth, we can do that here. So I will say you arrive late at night. Daywin turns into a fox again, bounding around. You build a camp, lay down, get some sleep. The next day you decide to spend the day here and another night just to recuperate. So the floor is open. What would you like to do during this rest period that you have?
Well,
Symbol's
yeah.
making
I
sure
know
the
that
fire's big enough.
Irving-
Everybody go.
I have nothing to say yet. That's all I was gonna say. That I don't think David can say anything quite yet.
Well, we can be in the morning. We can be.
I like this. I like this.
I think that if you are in your fox form, that Irving would go hang out with Drifa for a bit and just kind of check in. Are you feeling back to normal?
Yes. Yeah, of course. The hardiness of a dwarf, well, certainly can't be brought down that easily. Plus, a little soup helps.
It does, doesn't it? It's good to be cared for when you're not feeling well. So I'm glad you
Yes.
have that.
Yes. Perks when I'm not traveling alone, of course.
That is true. We didn't talk about it much after everything, but that whole, situation with the other dwarves, ghost dwarves, I've never seen anything like that. How was that for you?
Irving, I've been around for a while and I've never seen anything like that either. It was inspiring, I think is the best way to put it. Growing up, hearing a lot about what happened when we lost so many of our homes during the war with the orcs, and once to a dragon, which I'm glad that has been dealt with. But it gives me hope that if our ancestors can come back as ghosts and stave off an evil a second time, then surely we can claim back our homes as dwarves. It is a good omen for us. For me, in that way.
That's great. I'm glad.
But how was it for you? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's kind of hard to even think about when I remember it. It feels like it didn't happen, but there they were, and they fought quite well, just as like the story has said.
It was very impressive, and we would not have made it out of there without their help. So I feel honored that they would come to our aid. That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, well, they must have They must have felt what we knew what was in that box, what we felt was there, and knew they had to stop it. I'm not honestly sure what motivates a ghost to come back and fight, but they knew their duty then, and I'm glad for it.
Me too. And Irving will look to see Daywin as a fox, sort of scampering around. I don't know, maybe chasing a mouse or something.
It'd be more like chasing like a piece of like dandelion floating through the air.
Okay, that's even cuter. Love that for you. And I'll turn back to Drifa. I think she's having fun with this, so that's good.
A shrug. Yeah, and I'm glad that she is. Because I couldn't imagine turning into a fox every day, but yes, look at that. The way she's leaping for that, it's adorable. I mean, now that I'm looking at it, I'm almost jealous.
It's a little bit of the same for me. I think, well, not really having the choice to sort of jump into it maybe isn't ideal, but she looks free like that. It's kind of nice.
As you're watching her gambol with your trained eye of the hobbit, able to spot shiny little things sort of wherever they are, Irving, you notice that along the way, in the gamboling and the jumping around and the running after butterflies, the bracelet that Daywin wore that was around the forepaw of her fox form has slipped off. You realize that she doesn't have it anymore, and when you look around, you see it glinting as the fire kind of catches, the light from the fire catches it a little bit and glints it just a little bit off near the entrance of your little your little sanctuary.
Just hold on to that knowledge for now.
Sorry, what was that?
I'll just I don't think I'll mention it. And just sort of watch her.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else want to do anything?
Tenwolf gets the fire bigger than normal as best he can and gets his cloak drying by the fire. But then after it's going and watching the fox jump around and Irving and Drifa having conversation and the cold bathing only a little bit, he says, Irving, please come tend to the fire. I'm going to check the river and see if there is a way to ford. Otherwise, we may have to build a boat, and that could take some time. Keep Drifa come to the fire as well. Stay warm. Make sure you're over your illness.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We don't know the weather will change again.
It is
tend to the
night.
fire.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say I'll tend to the fire diligently, as I think a task from Senwolf feels important, no matter what it is. So.
And day or night, the fire will be going while we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Also, because everyone needs to stay warm and dry because we don't have extra weather gear. But at some point, I need to check out the river as best I can and see if it can be crossed.
Not a problem. So you will find your way out to the edge of the river. And how much time do you think Senwolf has spent? Because the Rangers of the North do use the ruins of Anuminas to hide out or as a meeting spot or things of that nature. So how much time do you think Senwolf has spent in this area in his life so far?
Fenwolf knows the other rangers that live south of Numenos, and so has probably been here at least a couple of times. Fewer than half a dozen, but a few times. But he may not exactly remember where the crossing points are. Probably, probably not exactly. I was estimating.
Well, as you walk towards the river, the first thing you notice is that as the sky clears up and the moon comes out, you notice the silvery light sort of fall onto the ruins of Anuminos, and especially the western tower, which is the one that is still the most intact and sort of still stands out, even though the lake has reclaimed most of the city that used to stand there. As you kind of gaze upon that, and I'm certain can't help but feel the sort of imagery of it, of your people used to be the kings of this land. You have now in time been sort of reduced in some ways, like this tower that used to be your home, into rubble to a certain point, where you are scattered, you are kind of living rough for the most part, you are shunned by a lot of people because of some of the secrets that you have. In some ways, the entire race of the First Men has kind of been brought low, yet you still are here and fighting the good fight in some ways. How would that affect Senwolf? Like, what would Senwolf be feeling or sort of thinking about that as those thoughts kind of come forth?
Whenever Senwolf is in the North Downs, Fornost, or Numenos, he's always immediately in the zone of memory and of clan pride and the calling to restore the Rangers. And First Men is always is especially strong here. He feels profoundly dutiful with regard to any charge that he has, and that includes the 3 companions. It's imperative to him to represent his people to their best image when in the homeland. So whatever it takes, and at whatever cost, to fulfill the goals and to protect his charges, that's his focus. So he's probably even a bit more stern than normal in this area, particularly with the companions that are not also from here.
And what does Senwolf make of all the stories of that some people believe that the descendant of the first kings hides amongst the Rangers as just a regular old ranger scouring the land, lending a hand where he can? The Senwolf put much stock into those stories?
I take that as a metaphor for the spirit that resides in all of us, and that in some way the original leader of the people of the Rangers lives in all of us and does move about with us. But for Senwolf, it's not a concrete thing. It's a legend intended to inspire and for us all to remember that we hold that spirit of what's the word I'm looking for?
Resilience, maybe?
Resilience, yes, absolutely. That resilience and that will to overcome the things that have befallen us. Because we came from greatness, we will return to greatness.
Okay. And as those thoughts sort of fill you in and you're going down memory lane, I will say, if you want to go ahead and give me a nature roll. Remember to add your proficiency bonus if it's not already added. And because you are sort of filled right now with the spirit of your people and you're remembering other trips here and so on and so forth, I'll give you advantage on this particular roll.
My Coat of Leaves also gives me a 1d4.
Excellent.
Right. Let's see what I can do here. There was a 13 that I rolled on the die, plus 3 is 16, plus 3 is 19.
Excellent. So as you overlook this part of the river, you and are casting your mind back, you remember there is a fording trail not too far from here. It would probably be like maybe a half-hour travel further south, but you do remember that there's a very passable fording area in the stream of the river there. With the heavy rains that have just come and gone, it may be a bit more dangerous than usual, but it certainly would be feasible, and it's certainly the best bet that you have sort of in the within a day's journey, let's say.
Mm-hmm. I'll nod to myself, return to camp a bit lighter.
Before you return to your camp, I will say that as you take one last glimpse at Anuminos, you are reminded of a story. Unfortunately, it didn't happen for you, but there is a story that says that sometimes upon first climbing all the way to the top, the Western Tower in Anuminos, people will oftentimes see a wondrous sight out upon the Lake Evandem. You yourself on your first voyage here didn't see anything, and perhaps that at the time left you feeling, a little bit sort of down about that. But it's possible that some of your companions might be able to experience it. So that is something that you can have in your pocket if this is something you wish to guide your fellowship towards or not. Totally up to you.
And clarify for me, is Anuminos vacant, or are there people living there?
Yeah.
Okay.
You still occasionally, rangers will go there to camp out or to leave messages or to meet up, things of that nature.
Excellent.
So
I'll return to camp.
do you mention that you would get kind of grumpy at some of the travelers with you? If for any reason Sunwolf got grumpy at Drifa, Damon as little fox would just go up and go and then run away because she's a little terrified of you.
Senwell tries not to get grumpy with the rest of you. It's more just stern or more stoic in the homelands. But I figured that's how Daywin would behave as a fox.
And to be fair, I'm the GM of this game, and I'm a little afraid of Sunwolf, so it's totally fair.
But Sunwolf does return to camp a bit of light in step. It says, I remember I found it, a place that we can ford the river. And I think tonight, Irving, after we eat, we should draw.
Oh, sounds great. Wonderful. I'll get everything ready.
All right, then let's put some food together and get ready then for our trip. We are going to go into the ancient city of Anuminos. I want to show you all something and see if we can locate a special experience that I've heard about before we go on southward to our companions that we're looking for, who then may help us with Daywin's condition.
That's great.
Is there?
I bet even tomorrow the weather will be better.
As they're getting everything ready for dinner and stuff, Irving will kind of fuss about and make everyone's spaces comfortable to sit at, and because they're cooking over the fire, they've got that handled. So he'll just sort of putter around. He'll pick up the bracelet that Daywin left and just pocket it, and
as you
kind of
pick
make
up
sure everything's
the bracelet,
nice.
as you pick up the bracelet, you suddenly start hearing something strange. It's a voice. I'm not too sure what that voice is saying. What is that voice saying?
1, 2, 3, jump! 1, 2, 3, jump!
and you can see Daywin as a little fox just like booty wiggling, getting ready to jump at a firefly, and is just preparing themselves to jump at this little firefly they're trying to hunt.
I'm going to need about 45 minutes to get over that. Wow. That's the cutest thing I've ever heard. Okay. I think Irving, holding this bracelet and watching how the movements are definitely connecting to what he's hearing, he'll just stand initially in awe and just sort of watch and wait to see if you say anything more.
She'll continue to kind of jump around, and it's like after like 2 or 3 minutes of chasing these little fireflies, she'll start looking around.
Where's a cozy spot? Oh, I'd love to eat some of those honey things again, but I'd like a cozy spot. I need to clean my tail. Yeah, funny.
Daywin? Come here. I've got a cozy spot for you.
Do you say that out loud or like in your head?
I say it out loud.
Okay.
Daywin kind of just looks around. So does Daywin know that she's Daywin currently as a fox? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to totally let it up to you to decide how you want to play it. I would assume that there should be a progression as, Daywin is sort of learning to embody this. So if you, it would be perfectly fine for you to play it as,
a very playful version of Daywin.
Yeah. But absolutely, totally up to you how you wish to play it.
Hello?
Hi.
Master Hobbit.
This is amazing.
That's my bracelet.
Yeah. I think it's what's letting us talk.
And
we should show Drifa.
You'll notice that Daywin's mouth isn't moving.
Yeah, he'll start leaning into it and just think towards you.
You did it.
I'm so glad that we get to talk. How do you feel right now?
I'm hungry.
Oh, come here. And he'll go pull out one of the last remaining cakes. It's a miracle it's gotten this far, but he'll hand it over to you.
And Daywin's tail is going crazy, like just a feather duster, just picking up dirt of pure excitement, just eats it and just looks at you with like the biggest doe eyes.
Oh, that was really nice. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Drifa, come here. You have to. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yeah. What's going on?
Hold this, and I'll hand the bracelet.
I'll grab it. Isn't this Daywin's?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
You can talk.
In my mind.
Sorry, my mic was off, but you didn't hear anything when you picked up.
Oh.
I don't hear anything when I grab it. Okay. I just.
Sorry, my mic was off. I'm like, hey, this and that. I was muted.
So David just looks at you with his big eyes, just.
Looks like it's in pretty rough shape. I could probably fix the clasp on this.
Can you hear her?
Daywin.
Talk to her.
Hello, Daywin.
You can
Is this yours?
hear her, but Like Daywin, you can hear Drifa, and you get a sense of what the words mean. But
This
Oh,
yours? This is yours. Yeah. What's the big thing?
Well, hang on. Let me hold it again.
I hand it back.
He'll take it and just look at Daywin and through his head just say, "Can you hear me still?"
Yeah. I could hear Drifa, but Drifa couldn't hear me.
Oh, wow.
What is happening?
I can hear her talking when I hold this. I don't know why, but it's kind of amazing.
You
Really
can hear
nice.
Daywin talking when you're holding the bracelet.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Well, now I'm disappointed.
Shoot, I'm sorry.
No,
I
no,
thought-
that's okay. That's actually amazing. I didn't when I looked down at Daywin, I didn't think that was I don't think any of us would be so lucky, actually. Thought she'd just be
Well,
Tell Drifa she needs to rebraid her beard. It's a little scraggly.
it is still lopsided a little bit. Yeah, I kind of forgot.
I'll wait a second, not knowing if I should say that to Drifa or not. But then I'll just laugh a bit. I don't know if this helps you believe it or not, but she says that you should rebraid your beard because it's looking a little rough.
Oh my
I swear, I think you look
She
fine.
would be the one to mention it. So like undoing one of the braids and pulling out all the hairs that are ripped and detached. Well then, I mean,
Daywin
Well,
sits
that's-
down and watches as you fix your beard, like attentive, like
as long as one of us can hear her, that's
well,
something, I suppose.
I'll grab Senwolf and just sort of try to drag him over. You have to hold on to this for a second and see if you can hear Daywin.
What are you locked
I can hear
up to?
her. Just
With what?
hold on
This?
to this. Yeah,
I take it. Oh, this is Daywin's.
yeah. Talk to her.
Don't mind the
Daywin.
broken clasp.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. It wouldn't fit me anyway. Daywin, they found your clasp, your brooch. We should hold on to it for you, I suppose.
Nothing?
No.
You're not getting anything.
It's not even heavy. It barely feels like I'm holding it.
Well, here.
Make up your
When
mind.
I
The
hold
beans
this.
are- Yeah.
All right, go get your beans, but this is incredible.
It's silver. It's a bit damaged.
No, we can talk. Daywin can. I understand what she's saying when I hold this.
Yes.
So apparently
I think to all of you, it's just kind of like little barks and like little purrs
Chirps.
and other things. Yeah.
Zenwolf says, "What was that?"
She said yes.
I really could mess with them. This could be fun.
Now she wants to mess with you.
I'm
Grr.
inclined to believe that.
She's gently growling at you, although I think you can hear that.
Yeah, she does that a lot. Let me see. Let me look at it a little bit more. Hold it up for me. I don't need to hold it. It could be special. Drifa, what do you make of it? Do you think this is true? Wait a minute. I know the three of you together, when my back is turned, like to mess with me. Is this what this is going on? It's the three of
I
you.
mean-
Okay. Okay, Daywin,
No,
give us a speech. What is it,
Oh, I'm
Irving? What
about-
is
If it helps you feel better, I'm not hearing it either.
Tell him
And that's very deceptive, Drifa.
his drawings are mediocre.
That's just mean. Can I tell
But
him
then-
something?
I
Yip, yip, bark. Yeah, yeah.
You could tell him that his guiding is well. No, but then he won't know it's me saying it. Tell him about the drawing.
She says your drawings are mediocre. I'm sorry that I had to say that to you, and I don't believe it's true. You're just starting out. It takes time. I think you're doing great.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold it. You are right. And Daywin is being kind to me. Because they are terrible. I know this is true, but okay, all right. I think the beans are going to burn, but I will accept that this is going on. You work it out then among yourselves. Drifa, I'm sorry for accusing you of being part of a ruse
It
against
would have
me.
been a good one.
Be careful
Yeah.
with beans. They don't smell so good at night. Coming out.
What now? What did she say?
She would rather that you don't consume the beans, as they are unfortunate on the back end, so to speak.
I accept what you've told me. And Daywin is not wrong, but we have to eat something. So I'm going to go tend to what we've got to eat, and you all continue to talk to the fox. It's beyond me.
Yeah.
That was fun, thank you.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, gosh.
No.
Okay.
No need to apologize. Mediocre drawings. I'll go back to the beans. I look back. I'm getting mediocre. Progress.
Oh,
That was fun. Thank you.
I guess.
Does Daywin have a mark on her fox face?
You do see that the fur underneath one eye seems to have discolored a little bit since the last time you saw her, and you can tell that there looks like maybe there's like a scar or something underneath, but it definitely wasn't there before.
Wait, Irving, tell her to hold still for a moment. I'm gonna kind of
can
like
you hold-
crouch down and hang on. Let me look. There's a stop.
Hold
And I kind
still.
of like gently kind of move brush the fur there to see the spot.
It looks like an old wound, which is strange because you didn't see it before, but it definitely looks like a scar more than like a fresh wound, like as if she would have clawed herself by mistake or something. It really looks like, but the hair around it has kind of fallen out, and it sort of shows, where the skin would be a little bit dead. And you can
Yes.
definitely see the bumps of the
This is the
Scar.
closest our faces have ever been.
I can't hear that, but I say it looks like it looks like a scar, but I don't remember there being a scar here.
Oh. Daywin, did you get something under your eye?
David's gonna go over to either some sort of water basin or right by the river to where there's a light shining. Gonna kind of look at herself, almost like checking herself out.
No, this is new. I think I'm an elf. Elven skin is usually pretty nice and unscarred. I'm an elf, right?
Yeah.
I haven't
are.
fully. She takes her pause, connected yet. Did you see how close Drifa's face was to mine?
I did see that. That was nice.
What
did you
is she
ask?
saying?
She doesn't know where that came from. It just sort of is there.
I'm
She
sure we'll
doesn't seem
hear
to
no end
remember
of it
anything.
tomorrow when she notices it as an elf in her normal form.
Do you think it'll be there still?
Well, to be honest with you, I hope not. But the weird thing about it is that it's new, but it looks old. It looks like it's an old scar, but that's, like you said,
But it
she's new
came
to
out of
her.
nowhere.
Yeah.
Huh.
Exactly.
I guess we'll see in the morning.
Sandwolf comes back with some beans eating. It's ready. And I'd still like to draw.
We probably should practice a bit. What do you want to draw?
Eat first.
Yes.
Please draw me. I will
Oh,
sit
yeah.
by the fire and look nice and sit still. No, I'll fall asleep. Then I won't move.
We should. I know what we can draw. Don't worry.
Great. Then get your food and then we'll clean up and then we'll draw what it is that you have in mind.
Irving eats beans.
So what will a little final thing here then? What will each of you do before turning in for the evening, having made this new discovery, but still needing to get a little bit of sleep if you want to be up and at him in the morning?
Daywin falls right to sleep by the fire, right by Irving's feet.
Irving will not move from that spot then. We'll just sort of pull his stuff over a little bit closer, and just sort of stay there, still like clutching the bracelet, just in case she needs to say anything.
What are we drawing tonight?
Her.
A new challenge. Okay, all right.
It's nice because it's well, I mean, you have a reference to draw from, which is great, but since this is someone that we know and we care about, you might be able to see that in what you draw. Just
I
try
will give it my best. I will try my best. All right. And then get to work.
While they're
Drifa, you should
drawing,
draw.
Imagine it's great.
Give me
no,
give me
I would. I don't have a lot of time. I've got to get this figured out here. And there's kind of an annoyed expression and everything from Drifa, because Drifa's like carefully like trimming some edge and then checking reflection in the axe head, the shinier new axe head, checking it to see if it's even, and like cutting a couple of hairs, having to trim up one side to make it match. Just the whole thing. It's gonna take a while.
I don't know, Aaron, to what degree you're familiar with, beard trimming. But if you start doing that, basically you're gonna lose about a foot of beard easy before you're even remotely satisfied, and and then you're gonna get a little bit, and then it's gonna be, then you have to go on the other side and get them, and then you're like, then you come.
Yeah, I think that does
Drifa
happen if you
struggles
try
with
to cut your own hair.
it is true. Yeah. I got my little sideline here I gotta try and keep straight, and that's a whole nightmare if I mess that up. But anyway, so Drifa does have that struggle, and it does end up like mostly even, but a tiny bit lopsided. She just tries to play it off like it's not that way.
Just hangs with her head like this. And give me a performance roll, Ty.
Yes. That is a nat 20 with no modifier.
Yes.
Incredible. Wow.
Inspired perhaps by your earlier musings, and then seeing Daywin in her fox form right there, and everything sort of coming together into this perfect storm of Bob Rossness. You managed to not only make a pretty decent go at it, but I will give you a +1 to your performance skill, and if you ever acquire +5, I will give you proficiency in it.
That's awesome. I show Irving. I think having a point of reference is a good thing for me.
Clearly. This is wonderful.
Mediocre,
I mean-
at least. Yeah.
No. This is really lovely. You can see personality. This is beautiful. You should keep this.
Oh, yeah. I'll keep it. I'll show Daywin in the morning.
I think she'll love it.
I think so.
What
Well,
does Daywin, sorry,
Oh,
as you lay down to sleep, what does Daywin dream of during the night that
Ooh.
might intrude upon Irving's own thoughts and dreams?
It's one of the things where I have to decide, do I want to go kind of scary with it? Do I want to go kind of cool with it? So I'm going to do a little bit of both. So it starts off as almost like a nightmare, that Drifa's beard has detached from her face and is chasing her through the forest. And there's like lightning strikes, all sorts of things, and she's able to take cover under this like mass amount of leaves as it tries to find her, but it can't, and it finally gets away. And then eventually just kind of like fades into Daywin in fox form still, inside a beautiful, wonderfully smelling bakery, to where she can eat as many of these honey cakes as foxly possible. And she's just jumping around as if there's like no gravity, just like jumping around like covered in sparkles, and is pure happiness.
Irving, you have some weird dreams. Something about Drifa's beard, running around trying to kill people, and Daywin
So
rolling around in a
strange.
bakery with sparkles. It's difficult to make sense of it, but it was something.
There's something probably about like Senwolf's shadow holding like a pen.
Would I have any idea that these weren't my own dreams?
Give me an insight roll.
Ooh, okay. That's a 7.
Probably eating that second helping of beans before going to bed was a bad idea.
It's unsettling.
Probably a crossover that the beard is Daywin in fox form too. It's like beard fox, fox beard.
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
So trippy.
Drifa just wearing Daywin.
Oh!
Better than a hat.
Better than that.
It's true.
You wake up in the morning quite refreshed, a lot of you. As I said, you get the benefits of a full rest. When Daywin wakes up, you do notice that she also has a scar now under her left eye.
Yes.
Left eye. When she wakes up.
I have L and R tattooed on my hands for that specific reason. Daywin wakes up. At first kind of sounds a little funny. She wakes up.
You have fairly decent memory of what happened before. Again, it feels kind of like dreamlike a little bit, sort of what happens to you when you're in fox form. You do remember chatting with Irving.
She'll get up and kind of go towards everybody. Melon. So sorry. I think I drank something funny. Anyways, well met, friends. Irving. I'm not in the right accent. Irving. Was that a dream or was it real?
That was real. My dreams were absurd, so fortunately that actually was real. You remember all of it.
More like bits and pieces, almost like remembering a dream, like a very vivid dream and trying to continuously remember it, kind of a thing.
So interesting. Well, I'm glad that we're able to talk when you're
It's
a fox.
also interesting that it's just you and I.
I kind of feel bad. I wish that the others could do it too.
Don't even fret, Master Hobbit. At least it is one person. That does make my heart sing a little, that there is at least one.
That's good.
I'm also really hungry. I
yeah.
think I eat weird things as a fox, and they don't really settle well with me terribly as an elf.
There were a lot of fireflies last night. I have to be honest.
That's what that was.
Quite a few. Yep.
I don't like
There's a
bugs.
spot of beans left if you'd like to have those. Saved some for you, and I also did this. And I hold up the drawing. This is what you were like last night.
That's what I look like. She's gonna take it. Did you do this?
Yes, I did. Irving was helping me and said to write what I see, draw what I see, and from the heart. And I'm getting to be more mediocre, I think, than bad.
I think this one is far better than mediocre. This is wonderful. It's nice to know what I look like too. That I don't quite know. I'm not fox anymore.
You know, speaking about what you look like,
Your beard.
yeah.
It's
I had to
even
do
now.
some- Well, you know, those cultists tried to get me, but they could only get the beard, and did me a favor at the same time, I suppose. Not you so much though. You got a little mark there. I don't know if that's.
When you touch it, it does hurt a little bit, but it's a weird hurt where it's kind of not physical. You almost feel like you're poking yourself in the soul, if that makes any sense.
Feels funny.
You ever been on a roller coaster or something like that? You know that feeling you get when
Yeah.
you climb it and you're about to come down and everything inside just kind of goes up for you kind of feel that, like almost like there's a hollowing inside of you that occurs when you.
There's a feeling alongside it, but I don't quite know how to articulate it quite yet, but I'll get there. It does feel different. I need to look in a mirror. Do we have one, or maybe I'll look in the lake?
You can kind of see in this in the side of my axe here, and I'll pull up my shiny axe that I just recently acquired.
She'll narrow it and kind of like. Well, that's a blemish.
Doesn't look too
Perhaps
bad.
we should look at the artifact. See if there's a change.
True. Let me grab my pack. And she's just like, kind of like covering it.
Don't cover it. It gives you some character there.
I didn't have character before.
Well, think about all the elves out there who don't have a mark that are going to be jealous.
Point
think
of pride
about
with the
it.
Rangers.
And
You all-
dwarves.
True, and the dwarves.
Okay, so the artifact. She pulls out the artifact from her pack.
As soon as you touch it, you feel like a sharp pain that cuts all the way through you and ends right there, and like it makes you drop the box. It's as if there was like this sudden surge of light, sharp shadow just cut right through you and all the way into the very heart of you.
Ah, oh,
Stenwolf sweeps in and catches up the artifact.
did that? No, be careful. If you,
Go on.
it's not hurting you.
When you take the artifact, you catch it in your hands. You see very briefly that the little glass plates, the dark glass plates on the cover, are kind of realigning. And very briefly, for a moment, as they are sort of realigning, you see the outline of what appears to be like a fox engraved inside where before there used to be a skull. And then they sort of and close back up.
It has changed from what we saw before. There is an image of a fox, where before it was a skull. We have to get you to my companions
Yes,
soon.
I agree. And she'll pull out like another like little props everywhere. Another like little sack. Okay, put it in here, and then tie it up, and then I'll put it in my pack so it doesn't touch me again. That hurt. Okay.
Stenwolf will just stand looking down at you putting that away and just say, if it causes more disturbance in your dreams or any more of your physical pain, then perhaps someone of us should carry it to keep you protected. It seems it's not helpful or useful for you directly.
Probably. We'll see what happens when we get to the next stop, but that's most likely would need to happen.
I'll turn towards
Say the
Irving
word
and say,
and
keep an eye on your dreams as well. Drifa, sorry.
Oh, well, just if it does become too much to carry, I'm happy to throw it in my pack. Just so you know.
Resisting the urge to quote Sam Wyeth GMT right now. That's very kind. I mean, you could just carry me, but I think I'm a little too tall for that. We should pack up and move on. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And you do so. Who's carrying the Twilight Keep?
I'm still currently, Daywin is. At least till we get to our next stop and kind of redetermine from there.
Okay. You will travel a little bit further south and eventually come along to an area that looks like it's very affordable. So you will be able to very easily get across the Brandywine River and enter that little sort of triangle of land there that leads towards Numenos. You will approach the tower, and as you do, there's a sort of strange, perhaps, omen in the sky where you can see over off into the northeast area some dark clouds kind of amassing and sort of moving slowly, yet over on the southwestern edge of the lake there is still quite a bit of sunshine from the early dawn that is coming down over the river. The tower, the ruined tower that stands there at the edge of Numenos stands defiant, almost an artifact of a bygone age that is still weathering time and what's the word I'm looking for? It'll come back to me during the break, and I'll start this description all over again once we come back. But let's do that then. It's a pretty good point for break as you're approaching Numenos. So we will do that. We will take a short break here. Thanks so much to everybody hanging out with us. I am very thrilled to see our good friend Phoenix Iwaki in the house tonight. Phoenix, so good to see you, mate. Back on your feet, rocking again. Super glad to have you here. And to know that you're back doing what you do best, which is GMing these wonderful games that you run. So everyone, do check out Phoenix Iwaki's channel. I will give our good sensei a shout out here. Meanwhile, we will take a short break. We will be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thanks for hanging out. See you in a bit. We are back. Hey, gang, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out. We are coming back at you live here with thoughts of tattoos in our head, floating around like bees. We will get back into this here just a moment. Brief little recap. The group has been traveling west towards Evendim Lake. They have arrived at Anuminas. They are looking for people that can lead them to a village called Eskerdale, and someone there named Ulfrith who apparently knows about shape changers. During the night camping out, Irving was able to, by picking up Daywin's bracelet, Fox bracelet, able to enter into some form of communication with Daywin, and they were able to exchange a little bit, but it doesn't seem to work for any of the others. We've also found out that Daywin has a fresh new scar that is both new and old at the same time, and that there appears to be some connection to the Twilight Keep, the box that used to house the soul of Thousand Cal. So, you know, it's bad box. It's bad box. What's in the box? It's Daywin. The jokes write themselves. You know, what you gonna do? Now, mein Freunds, as you have traveled and now approach the area around Evendim, nestled against the base of the hills of Evendim is the great lake for which those rolling lands are named. Its white, sandy shores have seen many generations of men and Dunedain live and prosper, thanks to the trade that once sailed along the waters of the Brandywine River from here to the distant sea. But that age has passed, and the buildings that once rose along the banks of the lake have been abandoned so long ago that often not even a memory remains. Today, countless broken stones have become little more than a refuge for wild beasts. Sometimes they serve as lairs for even worse things, creatures that come down from the lone lands to the north in search of prey. The hills of Evendim give the nearby lake its Sindarin name, Lake Ninual, the Lake of Twilight. This is maybe because the shadows of the hills lengthen over its waters, making them look dull and flat, except on starry nights when the surface reflects the beautiful sky above. Once, the hills were the home of a folk that built upon their slopes even before the men of the West settled here, and many stones still bear their markings. These days they have become a wild and dangerous place, threatened by wandering trolls and other monsters. They come down from their lairs in the northern lone lands to prowl along the shores of the lake in hopes of catching a wayward traveler or foolish treasure hunter. Looking at Drifa. They make a sport of anyone unlucky enough to fall under their gaze, and there are even rumors that a few of their strange kind sometimes slip into the south, along the Shire's north moors. Thankfully, the rangers often keep watch here, keeping the area safe for travelers and others. The great city of Anuminos has lain in ruins for more than 2,000 years. Once the capital of the North Kingdom of the Men of the West, it was abandoned when the Dunedain moved their capital to the east to Fornost Erain. The broken stonework of the ruined city casts its long shadows on the shores of Lake Evandem for many centuries, like the bones of an immense dead beast. About 50 years ago, the waters of Lake Evandem rose dramatically as a consequence of the terrible floods following the fell winter, changing the shoreline and submerging much of what remained of the once glorious city. Now even brigands and tomb robbers not even brigands and tomb robbers visit Anuminas, for little of its ancient greatness is left to be remembered. The Rangers of the North sometimes come here, and they speak of the city of Anuminas in a voice that mingles both sorrow and hope. According to their songs and rhymes, here were once housed great works of art, magnificent artifacts that came from the lands beyond the sea. Though the greatest of these were lost to the tides of time or are now held in secrets by the Lord of the Free People, many believe that a great number of treasures remain hidden, waiting to be discovered by explorers worthy enough to brave the waters that now claim the ruins. The rising waters of Lake Neunual have claimed much of what was left of Anuminas, and today only the tallest and unbroken towers of walls emerge from the surface. And only about once a year, when the depth of the lakes diminish for a while in their winter, there's one tower that is still tall enough to rise above the surface all year round, called the Western Tower by the Rangers of the North. It once stood at the end of a pier extending above the surface of the lake, looking west. Today, that pier is broken and submerged, and the tower can only be reached by a boat or by walking on the surface of the lake when it freezes solid in the winter. As you approach the lake, you find that at this particular point in time, the water has receded enough. There is a very long and narrow walkway of stone, natural stones, that has sort of emerged and leads to the tower. What would you like to do?
So beautiful.
Prince, Numinos is a landmark of my people. And I want to show you something, if you will entertain my idea. It's said at certain times in the West Tower, if we climb to the top and you look out from there, you can see a special sight, but I don't know exactly what it is because I have not seen it myself. But I think that fortune and goodwill has followed us here and has left a land bridge for us to cross. If you'll join me, we can climb the tower since we're this close and see what we see.
If
I wouldn't
there's
mind.
if there's still beauty here from your people, whatever's left that they have to share, I'm more than happy to see.
Well, Mistress Dwarf, allow me to follow up that there are many things buried in the waters of this lake yet to be recovered of my people. And that beauty still exists, some of it. The rest is what you see here, but perhaps, with good fortune, whatever we may see from the top of the tower.
Well then, let's see what that is.
Follow me.
And you follow Senwolf as you make your way across. The stones are very slippery and somewhat treacherous, but by helping each other out, and perhaps with using ropes and so on and so forth, and by navigating carefully, you make your way to where the final bit of the pier that has not been destroyed and submerged exists. And there's a few stone steps that you can take and go up. You can still see the old metal rings where the ships used to anchor up to that have rusted over thousands of years of sitting in the water here. And the tower itself still rises fairly majestic, even though sections of it have obviously surrendered to time. There are vines still kind of gripping the sides of it, although they're not green anymore at this time of year. They're just like these gray brown branches that reach through it. You see a few animals skitter and scatter as you approach. You know, Senwolf, that the most auspicious time for seeing anything out on the lake is just at twilight before darkness falls. And so perhaps you make a short camp at the base of the tower, get some food, rest up. You do feel that it's going to probably be kind of a close call for Daywin, whether or not Daywin will manage to see what you want them to see, if in case they can see it as you yourself never did, and many never get to see. Just before twilight, then you will ascend the rest of the tower, and it will take a certain amount of time. It will certainly take a good 15 or so, 20 minutes almost climbing up. It is well preserved and doesn't really offer any sort of difficulties for you. You arrive on top of the tower, and you can see laid out before you the hills of Evandim and then the lake. There is a strange fog that covers the hills themselves right now. A little further off to the southwest, you see a light shining, and Senwolf, you know that that is the home of Aaron and Banyan, where you are headed, and so you can certainly make good time and get there if you want to push after tonight. You stand and watch over the river as the sun slowly dips down, and perhaps Daywin starts getting a little bit nervous. Sun is dipping down. You can already see in the dark purple sky the stars that are starting to emerge. And then suddenly, off from the north, all of you will see this, including you, Senwolf. You gaze out over the water. At first you hear a song that seems to be drifting in over those still waters. It is a song that is a dirge, both mournful and beautiful in equal quantity. This song leads the way for what comes next. You see appearing before you a number of strange, ghostly ships with high sails. They appear at the edge of your vision, and over the lake seem to be drawing ever closer to the tower, though they never seem to reach it. As you watch these ships of light who travel yet never arrive, you are reminded of life itself, how so often the journey is one that never seems to arrive anywhere, never seems to end except perhaps in death. But if these ghostly ships still continue their voyage, and if dark souls like that of Thaz and Kel or Wenlaw, Hellfeeder, can continue darkening the light hundreds of years after their deaths, is there ever really any end? Is it just cycles? Waves that lap at the shore, recede, and return to lap again, never truly gaining ground or losing it? Static, unchanging. You simply continue to wander, fetterless, adrift, unmoored, and ever on into darkest night and brightest dawn, in a cycle unending? Surely there must be a way to make meaning out of all this, isn't there? Eventually these ships fade and vanish on the mist-swept surface of the lake. As you take in this sight, you realize at the last moment that Daywin has become a fox again, has transformed, has changed. You may-
Is
Sorry.
Irving still holding the thing?
Yep.
Bracelet. Okay, cool.
I will say that all of you experienced this vision, gain an inspiration, which you can again trade off for a shadow point if you wish.
I actually would like to.
And let's go briefly here around the table and just see how are your characters sort of feeling, or what are you making out of this particular vision that you saw? In Senwolf, you saw it also for the first time. You seemed ready, Daywin, if you want to.
Sounds good. So Daywin is gonna do a cute little trot over to Irving and sit down by Master Hobbit's feet. Can you still hear me?
You'll hear in your head just a gentle yes.
Doing the wrong accent again. That's good. No, I'm gonna keep it, actually. So, what's for dinner? That really pretty vision made me hungry.
We'll eat soon enough.
Okay. I don't know why I'm so hungry all the time.
It's okay. I am too. I think it's just normal.
Okay. What did you think about what we saw?
I don't even. I'm glad that we got to see it with Senwolf, to share that with him.
Yeah. That's very
I
nice.
think I'm still thinking about it. Yeah.
I'm glad it's still with me, even if I was like in between forms. Transitioning forms. I don't know. I just suddenly become. Can I tell you a secret?
Of course.
I wish at that time I wasn't in fox form, because then I could have taken my paw hand and put it on Drifa's shoulder. It would have been a nice moment.
It sounds like it'd be very nice.
Yeah.
Maybe next time in the light, when you're you again, maybe you should try that.
Makes me nervous. I don't know if I'll ever be able to, but at least I can try.
The things that
Weird.
make us nervous are, they're worth trying.
I'll think about it over some ale, which I should not drink as a fox. Don't let me do that. I don't think that'll be good for
Nope.
for me.
No ale. Don't worry.
Anyways, I'm gonna go hunt for some fireflies.
Have fun.
And David's gonna go just like leaps and bounds with her tail all floopy and ears kind of just like flapping as she jumps, all excited to go find some fireflies that are definitely gonna make her human form sick in the morning.
I know that after all of that, Irving would glance at Senwolf to sort of gauge how he might be feeling after seeing what we saw.
Looking at Senwolf is hard to read. Stoic, silent, long gaze, and Senwolf stares for a few beats longer than you'd expect. Doesn't look around at anyone, and eventually turns from the wall or the parapet and starts to descend the tower without speaking.
Before you end up leaving completely, you feel this bump on like your ankle because you're incredibly tall. And you look down to find Daywin, who has this long stick with a really pretty flower still attached to it, and she's sitting there with her tail wagging, looking up at you, trying to give you this little flower.
Watch Daywin. Where did you find that already? I'll reach down and take the offering.
And
just
Daywin
a
just
gentle,
goes bouncing off after. Oh yeah, you could pet her for sure.
just a gentle stroke, yeah.
And she just goes bounding off again.
And what about Drift?
For Drifa, Drifa would have been caught up in the sort of thoughts. Well, first seeing the ships, and it reminds her honestly of seeing like the dwarven ghosts, like she was talking about with Irving, and all that kind of washes over very solemnly. Not as much as Senwolf, but there's like almost like this ribbon of hope, and knowing that all this time that she's spent wandering around, gathering information, looking for trinkets and what have you, building these friendships and these relationships, is it just a pattern, or is it something else? And here in the ruins of I suddenly forgot the name of where we're at. I want to say like a numerous or something. Not a numerous. Anyway, I apologize.
No, it's okay.
But just being there in the ruins, and it reminds her of too, like Elias did before, of the lost dwarven places, and there's confidence that there is that whether or not she comes back to that, or however, a numinous, thank you, whether or not she comes back to that and actually does assist in bringing back the glory for people, almost doesn't matter, because here from this tower she can see that all of the beauty and all of the grace of these times that are still now, and that nothing's really gonna shake that. And there's sort of a hope restored in her. And then coming back from that and turning and seeing Daywin bounce around again as a fox, Drifa feels okay.
And with that, a lot of you descend back at the base of the tower. You will manage to make your way back across the little land bridge and walk through some of the remaining ruins of the city, among the ghosts, amongst the mythology of this place, amongst the history, amongst the legacy of this place and of the people who lived here. As you do, would you give me, each of you, an explore roll? And this is an explore roll for treasure. So if you have any sort of advantages or bonuses to that,
Oh yeah.
please go ahead and use them.
I will use that.
You use one of my
The
inspirations
15.
because that was a 2, and I don't like
Okay.
that. It's better. 19.
Me as well.
19 also?
Yes.
It's a 15 for Irving.
You keep rolling 4s. Oh, you're muted.
You're muted, yeah.
You're speechless.
It's my lucky number. I am speechless. This many 4s.
That's insane.
All the 4s.
What does it mean?
It means you're playing the wrong system.
Yeah. That's exactly what it means.
Right. So you find a couple of things will sort of stand out at you as you travel through the ruins. You will here and there sort of spot certain things. Go ahead, and you had 3 successes, so go ahead, whoever wants to make it, maybe whoever had the successes, if you wish, go ahead and I will tell you what to roll me.
I want to go as a fox. I can smell the treasure. Or is this during the day?
No, it's at night.
No, it'll be the night
Okay,
as you're
good.
walking through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Alert.
Go ahead and each one of you rolled over 15, 15 or over. Give me a d20, flat d20 roll.
Well,
Sorry, let me make notes.
15 again.
So
Heck yeah.
15, 12,
10.
10. Okay. First of all, you'll find some gold, which is fine. You don't have to worry about gold too much. Go ahead, Irving, and give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Give me a d6 roll, please.
you can never like roll like 60 20s. I was like, whoa. That's excessive.
That's a 3.
That's a 3. All right. As you travel through, you will see at some point a what appears to be the remains of a camp that were built, perhaps, within, inside the ruins of what had been a home at some point. You can clearly see the remains of the camp. You can see things of that nature, but you can also see that at some point there was part of the wall that was still up crumbled down and fell. And you can see that there is a body, someone that has sort of been stuck there and struck by these falling rocks. As fast as you approach it and take a look, it looks older than you perhaps thought. It's certainly a couple of years, perhaps even old. But you do notice a leather satchel that is sort of stored almost as if it was kind of placed to be somewhat hidden a little bit behind part of a set of stairs that used to go up, but when the wall came down, it sort of exposed it. It's an oiled leather satchel and seems to have weathered time fairly well. Would you like to take a look at what's inside?
Yes, I would, very much so.
I'd like to save the game before I look in
respectfully.
it.
Yeah, save the game before
Yeah.
you look in it. You find a couple of things inside. You find a book, a book bound in tooled leather. The page is old, faded, stained in places. The ancient script on the cover reveals itself to you as you take it in your hand, as if almost by magic. You couldn't read it a second before, and now you can. Inside, you find 2 things when you flip it open. One, you find a wealth of knowledge on medicine, plants, and nature. And the last few bits and pieces of it, the pages have been carved out. And there is a pipe that is inlaid in those pages. So there's incredible knowledge lost, but there's a very beautiful pipe, carved pipe, and the sort of bowl of this pipe appears to be perhaps the face of a dwarf. You can see a beard, knotwork of a beard, open mouth, almost as if they're laughing, bushy eyebrows, big brown eyes. And so you find that. So you find the pipe, you find the book. You also find inside there is another oil leather parcel that is secreted inside that bag. Again, several years old. When you prop it open, you find inside a number of letters. There are 5 letters in all. They are addressed to various people throughout Eriador. You recognize the symbol on this pouch as that of a messenger. And you sort of understand that whoever this person was who stopped here and was very unfortunate was very likely, like you, a messenger on a delivery route or other. And unfortunately, through misadventure, the route ended here. The letters are still there, a few years old, but still in fairly good condition, well protected inside this oil leather wrap.
Well, I think Irving would hold on to the letters and just sort of look at this body. I'll finish it for you. He'll take a look. Do any of the do the letters, do they have addresses on them? Is that how this works?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of them are not like a
there-
house address. Obviously, it's like
Yeah.
delivered to the postmaster in this town, delivered to the general store in this town, delivered to the trading post over here, delivered to the second house on the left after the big yew tree on the way to, half a day's march outside of, kind of thing. But
do any of the places, or if there are names, does any of that sound familiar?
yeah, they're all fairly easily recognizable. There's like a letter for Breed. It'll be a letter for someone near Lastbridge. There's a letter for the Shire. So they're all fairly recognizable places.
I think he takes a moment as the understanding sinks in that this is not an uncommon thing to see a messenger fail to finish their job, because it's not as simple as delivering nice little messages about town. Sometimes it can get kind of rough. So he'll respectfully take everything, and probably show the group what he found.
Daywin can't help herself and gives everything a real good sniff.
Yeah, you
He'll hold
wrinkle
them
your
out
nose
for
as
you.
you sniff the pipe, which still has this incredibly strong and pungent aroma of tobacco in it.
And that pipe is pretty clearly dwarven made, right?
Seems to be, yeah.
Oh, but you look at this. I'm going to reach for it after
Yeah.
Damon gets a
Tell-
good whiff.
Tell Drifa it looks like her.
She says it looks like you.
Well, I'd be honored. Do I recognize? Is this supposed to like look like anybody specifically, or no?
It
Okay.
just really kind of represents the spirit you feel of your people more than it represents anyone specific.
Yeah, sort of dust it off. And does anyone mind if I hold on to this? I don't know how the how that one got a hold of it, but it's certainly something to be treasured.
Of course.
You will
I
find
appreciate
that when you take the time to fill it and light it up and take a smoke, that it leads you to a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Again, I'm losing all my words tonight, but it clears your mind and helps you think very clearly, and you will find that it provides a blessing to insight and old lore.
Interesting.
Heck yeah.
Excellent.
Carrying it on you is not enough, though. You have to take a moment, light it up, puff away, and then you get the blessing on insight and old lore. Thank you, by the way. I keep seeing the follows popping up on the screen. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It gives us a great boost. So thank you. You're very kind. Appreciate it. The tome, just so that you know and you can sort of put it where it will do the most good, will provide whoever holds it a blessing on both medicine and nature. A blessing is
Are
an
any of
advantage,
you
my friend.
particularly adept with this?
I am a child of nature and an herbalist.
I think my
Oh.
other form would be better to know.
Yeah. Okay. So either your human form or Senwolf should have this.
I'm looking at
Probably
Irving, and Irving goes,
Yeah, that's
and Wolf is like,
it's true because it's all in your head.
Sorry, Senwolf. This is all very strange. You can have this, or maybe Daywin is also good at this stuff. You can fight about it in the morning.
And you look over at Damon and he goes, "Arr."
I'm
Very
also holding a
playfully.
stick with a flower growing out of it. And I'm like, where's the fox's pack? Put it in there.
Wherever she's sleeping.
Jeff was probably carrying it, I would assume.
Yes, pass it to me. I'll put it in there.
And Daywin just kind of watches as it goes in her pack.
It can't hurt to have two of us who are able to work the concoctions that will keep us from having a long cold or an injury.
That's true.
Yes, that would have been nice a few days ago.
I tried my best. It was a stubborn cold from what I could tell.
It was. It certainly was. And Snow did me no favors, and I appreciate whatever you could do.
In Senwell's defense, there is a page that says like perfect remedy for cold, and it's one of the pages that's cut out for the pipe. So,
although scribbled in the margin of the page before it says chicken soup.
Yeah. Just C, and then the next word's missing the and then soup. So you
SUP.
cucumber soup,
Sea soup.
camel soup. You'll never know. You have to start trying them. You will store these items away for future use, and continue on your way. I will say that you will make some camp a little bit further out that night and get some rest. Early in the morning, you will continue your road, and yes. Yes.
Daywin will come and cuddle up right behind Drifa until morning, So like you kid says like this really warmthness on your back, but it's gone by morning.
Oxford.
That was cozy. I missed that.
Nice and warm.
Yeah, it's cold in the morning.
And no one's going to ask what kind of dreams Irving has that night.
Oh yeah. What kind of dreams are we gonna have? Honestly, I think they'd probably be very ethereal and beautiful because of the like intense like emotion and things that we'd seen as probably extremely delightful. And there's cakes everywhere for some reason.
Wonderful. You don't know why, but when you wake up at some point, you kind of had the feeling you heard snoring in your head.
Probably just Sunwolf.
You
It's
It was just
beans.
snoring.
and that's not in your head, it's just everywhere. It rumbles throughout the valley like stampeding herds of bison. You will, about halfway through the next day, come upon a small clearing with a house with a little bit of smoke coming out of the chimney. You can look at the map if you want. I've posted an image of the area. There is a little blacksmith fire going, a few animals behind what looks like a barn. There are a few rows of now fallow fields and a few old corn stalks sort of hanging out. There's a nice big bonfire that's burning in the front area of the house, which is what you saw and sort of guided you here. Senwolf, you know this to be the farmstead of two rangers, Aaron and Banian, who long ago decided that they would make this area sort of their domain, that their protectorate, and they have been living here for a number of years now, sort of keeping an eye on the area, guiding people, helping out, things of that nature. As you approach the house, you will see that working at blacksmith anvil is a man that is not utterly unlike Senwolf in that he is tall and ruggedly built and carries a beard with it. He has a beard, and he sort of casts his eye as you approach and wipes his hands on a rag. And as you're approaching the front of the house, he at the front of the gate, he walks over to the house and opens the door and leans in and seems to say something inside, and then will come towards where the fire is. He stops at the fire and sort of waits for you. And as you continue approaching, you see another ranger of the north, this one, a woman, come out of the house. As she does, you notice that she is wearing sort of traditional ranger garb. She has leather armor on her and a dark cloak, but you also notice that she appears to be pregnant, as the armor has been sort of let out a little bit on the sides to allow for her pregnant belly. And as you approach, the man doesn't speak much. He kind of just really stares at you very sternly from under hooded eyes. But as you approach Aaron, the woman will say, "Is that Senwolf I spy approaching?"
It's a ranger of the north at your gate, wishing to have leave to enter with his allies and companions.
"Oh, please come in. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. It's been quite a while since we've had the pleasure of your company, Senwolf, or the pleasure of any company, in fact. Please, come forward."
I'm glad you remember me.
Well, we hardly
Banian
forget a
seems-
face. We see so few of them around here.
Banian seems more skeptical that it's actually me.
Well, I believe that Banian is just a very,
He's like that.
someone with a very overdeveloped sense of suspicion. but he means no harm by it, don't you, Bane? She kind of slaps him on the shoulders, and he's like, yeah. I know you are. I'll come in. And he sort of gives you all a bit of a tight smile. He's like, I got work to do. And he turns around and heads back towards the... you have to excuse him. The longer we're staying out here, the more he's losing his ability to be social with people. But please, my name is Aaron. Please join us here. You must be quite weary from the road. Would you like to come inside, warm yourselves, perhaps get something hot in your bellies?
I'll motion for my companions to follow our hostess.
I'm unusually hungry, so yes. And
Well,
nauseous.
A bit. You kind of grub that you managed to get on the road can sometimes do that to people. Please come in. I've just finished preparing a nice warm vegetable soup for our evening meal, and there's more than enough for everybody.
As long as there's no fireflies.
No, we reserve those for the lean days of winter.
Yeah.
She'll invite you into the home. It's a very nice little cozy home, like 3 rooms maybe. They're separated. There's a nice long table. You can see that they have a number of vegetables that are laid out. There's a big pot of soup that is going on the fire, and she will bring you in, and she'll take her sword off and hang it on the peg, and you realize you're kind of invited to sort of do the same, leave your weapons at the door sort of thing. She'll introduce herself as Aaron. She will ask you all to sort of introduce yourself and shake each of your hands and welcome you very sincerely and very warmly. And within moments, you have bowls of soup and some fresh bread out in front of you, and mulled wine or whatever it is that you would like to drink. Bainin will eventually sort of come in also, and without saying too much, will wash his hands and sort of sit at the table. And what news do you bring then? Where are you coming from?
Last night we visited the West Tower.
Oh, did you? It
And
must have been a very good night to see.
It was. Saw the ancestors. I did for the first time.
Oh, well, that's very nice. And did you all see them?
Yes.
Yes. It's quite a sight to
lovely.
behold.
It is. Sometimes I think perhaps that's why Bainin is so taciturn. He unfortunately has not yet been able to witness this. But if it was your seeing it for the first time, Senwolf, perhaps there is hope for my man here, and she just puts a kind hand on his shoulder, and he just sort of grunts and keeps eating his soup.
There's
I would
always
be-
time.
Yeah, indeed, and I would be honored to take another trip into the ruins and see it again. We have come down from the North Downs, north
How
of.
was the war effort there? The reclamation
Mm.
effort, I should say.
It's touch and go. The bandits are replete throughout the area, and we had a serious confrontation, helping an elf to try to locate an artifact. And in doing so, our companion elf here has fallen under some sort of transformation.
Maybe
But
not.
it's
It's
an
always
odd
some
one.
damned artifact, isn't it? But this little one
Seems-
here. Do you mind
Master
if I take
Irving.
a look at you, dear?
Or this one else. Yeah. Sorry.
She looks at Daywin. Do you mind if I look at you, dear?
Sure.
She'll come close. She won't touch anything, but she'll... Is that from there, then? Pointing at your scar.
It's definitely not one I've had before.
And what is it, then, and you are hoping to find out in the hills here?
Answers?
We're looking for someone named Ulfrith. Do you know
Von
him?
Liechtenstein.
I do, from Eskerdale.
Right.
Why Ulfrith?
Has something to do with that artifact.
Always a damned artifact. You think they'd just stop making them?
It's
One
more
day.
of a modern thing, I think, that we're seeing these days than it is, in the old times. The stories they were pulled from the ether, or it was purely the skill and might of the people. But now it's all these evil,
Yes.
wicked items.
Indeed. There are dark times ahead, and mark my words, one day we will come to rue the creation of some of these artifacts. And it's not just the big ones either, the small ones. Very dangerous.
Decent point.
Well, if it is Eskerdale you come looking for, we can certainly point you in the right direction. I don't know what kind of help you'll find there. They're very particular people. They don't take very much kindly to strangers coming into town. However, perhaps in the presence of a Ranger of the North, they will open their doors to you. Ulfrith himself is a bit of a strange fellow. He has certainly some knowledge and some connections to the world beyond the one we see, but
is there perhaps an offering that we can take to appease the people there?
the people know, although they're quite cut off if you bring any sort of news or even supplies. They might open the doors more readily, but more than likely they'll be sort of grumbly and reticent in either way.
I mean, we don't exactly have very many supplies, but we do have a messenger, Master Hobbit here, who may have some maybe more positive things to impart on them. Don't really want to give them horrible news.
Do you have good news then to bring, Master Hobbit?
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
No, that's okay. Yes, there is always good news. Each day that we wake is a blessing, and meeting new friends is also just a wonderful thing. So glad that we could.
We will go
sort of trails
through our letters and notes and find something real nice.
Well, I wish you luck with that. They are very particular people. But we can certainly point you to the right direction. If you don't mind, Master Messenger, perhaps I could burden you with carrying a letter of my own. I assume you'll be returning towards the Shire, perhaps, or even Bree, once your quest here is done. If it would be okay, I might trouble you with bringing perhaps a letter back to Fornos the Rain, or to Norvost, very specifically. I would appreciate it. I will write it here momentarily and give it to you before you depart.
Perfect.
Is there anything we can do to help then, other than to point you in the right direction towards Eskerdale?
What time is it currently?
I would say it's like early mid-afternoon.
Okay. Darren's just like eating this like soup, this meal. Is there by chance a way that I can get this to go?
Absolutely. I'll be very glad to give you enough to take with you. It'll keep well enough to heat up on a campfire for a few nights.
Because the spices are so good.
It's my husband's special blend of spices. He dries his own herbs and makes them right here. It's a little bit of a taste of home. It helps us to remember our home once in a while when we get a little maudlin on long winter nights. As you can I'm sure, imagine long, quiet winter nights here are, and she looks at Banion, very quiet.
Congratulations
course.
on the addition to your homestead, by the way.
Oh, yes. We're very happy, very blessed. Put your hands on her belly. It's a little strange to think that this little one will be born in such a strange environment as this one. I must say that I always sort of imagined that if I ever were to have a child, that they would be able to grow up in Fornos terrain, perhaps. One of our ancestral halls, but I guess that's not for now. Perhaps the next one.
Good luck.
Trying to be hopeful for that. After the vision that I saw at the tower last night, it's a question that turns in my mind. It goes from beginning to end and connects to the beginning again. It's hard to see the future of it.
Well, that's the thing about the future. Sometimes you have to walk right into it before you can see it.
It seems that there are no truer words being spoken these days.
Well,
I have really good vision, but sorry.
You're very eager, young one, she says.
I don't know
obviously,
what's
as
happening.
As this discussion is going on, Banion sort of finishes his meal and goes over and washes his bowl and his spoon in the bucket of water, and then turns back around and he's got a pipe in his hand, and he'll look at you, Senwolf, and go, and then step outside.
I'll join him. Excuse me.
Oh,
You have to catch
no
up to
problem. If you don't mind, Master Hobbit, I'll set to writing this letter. And she'll go and she'll pull out some papers and she'll write. I just wanted to tell my sister, who lives in Norvost, about the pregnancy. I've not been able to let her know yet. She'll be quite thrilled, jealous. I don't know. She sets to writing. Outside Senwolf, you find Banion standing by the fire, filling his pipe. As you approach, he'll dangle his bag of tobacco at you if you partake.
Alas, I have no pipe to enjoy, but it's good to have your company.
He leaves, he goes back, he goes to a little shed nearby, and after a few moments he comes back and he's got another pipe, hands it to you.
And I'll take the bag of tobacco and pack my own.
And you stand there smoking for a little bit, and he says, when we decided that we would take this area as our warded land, we certainly had not envisioned that one day we would be, awaiting the arrival of a young baron. We've been here quite a number of years now. Well, you should not mention this to Aaron, but I've begun thinking that this may not be the best environment to rear a child in.
Remote.
As remote, it is very, very difficult land. There are plenty of dangers and threats lurking about where, fairly constantly called upon to act. And while I don't fear for Erin, she is more capable even than I will ever be. I do fear for a small child being here. I assume once this quest of yours is over, you will be returning towards Norvost.
That's the plan. Did you want me to speak to Talendale? Do I read your mind accurately, friend?
I would like you to inquire if there would be anyone who might be willing to come here and take up our post for us, if only for a little while. But I think it would be best to envision the idea that it might be for good. We put a lot of ourselves into this place, and it's easy to forget areas like this one, places that are not filled to the brim with people, places that are very savage. But these places are as important as any of the other ones.
This corridor may be as central to the safety of the South as any from the North Downs. I agree with you. This one is an important hold. And you and Aaron have done well to hold it this long.
Very kind of you to say. I would hate to leave it untended. If there's no one that you find that is willing to relieve us, we'll stay, of course, and we'll make a go of it. I'm certain we'll be fine. But if you find someone, if Talon or somebody else is willing to step up and replace us, then I would greatly appreciate it.
I will speak to Talendale and even offer my services if he agrees to that, because I have been wandering a long time myself without settling in any one place. And I've been a bit of an errand boy, and I'm tired of that. And coming back to the North Downs, to our ancestral home, has reawakened in me a new commitment to the defense and rebuilding of the Rangers.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you, Senwolf. It is difficult enough to be here with even as wonderful company as Aaron is. I would think that it would be very difficult to do it alone. I do not for one moment question your commitment to our people and our cause. I would simply, while I appreciate the very generous offer, I would offer this in return. There are plenty still of us who can take up this fight. There are many different ways to help. This is not a land that changes much. That tree, when we moved here, was basically exactly the same as it is now. This dried, cracked earth, these stones, over the years, they haven't changed much. We have changed, of course, but they haven't. Something I've come to understand is that this land that we stand on now will be here long after we have gone. We remember the songs of our people now, and one day people will perhaps sing songs about us and about this particular meeting, and those songs will live on. But so will this land. I would urge you to consider whether or not life out here is a sacrifice that you need to make.
I can't help but feel it's the shadow, and the shadow is stretching across this land and making it as barren as it seems now. But that's why the Rangers are still in the north, to turn that around. And I think there is something yet to be done that may take more than just a few committed souls. But we cannot lose this post. And by that token, nor can it be expected that you and Aaron make the sacrifice your entire lives when you have another one to care for now. I will talk to Talendale. For sure, I will do that. And we will come up with some arrangement. You will not have to stay here much longer.
Well, I appreciate this. As I was saying, perhaps let's not mention it to Erin. I think she would bristle at the thought that I would want us to leave, but
I'll not say anything to her. I do know a messenger, however. I can get you a message.
I appreciate it. Let's go back inside, see if your friends are ready to get back on the road, and I will point you in the right direction.
Let me just say, being back in the North Downs, I feel called to return. The spirit is still alive. The spirit of the first of the Dunedain.
That spirit, and he puts a hand on your chest, that spirit is here. It is not just in the land. Wherever you and those like you and those like me and those like Aaron walk, that spirit walks also.
I agree.
If this land can be saved, then it should. But if not, we can carry it in our hearts and in our spirits and remake it somewhere else. That does not mean that we should abandon the fight just yet.
I'm not ready to abandon it myself. But I don't consider it a judgment upon you or your wife's head that you are somehow abandoning it either. You are extending the line. Erin said herself, this one or the next, brother.
Well, spirits willing, we will be gifted with a little Aaron and not a little Banyan.
Yeah, you both have your strengths.
Though hers far surpass mine.
Well, you should learn to draw.
Drawing.
But
Is that
it is
what
a
keeps
talent.
you going then?
It is something that came to me by surprise. You never know what else you can find when you try.
And perhaps I'll pick up playing the piccolo. I've always wanted to play the piccolo.
I have no talent for music, so yeah, something like that.
Would you have said you had no talent for drawing?
Oh yeah.
Well, there you go. You never know.
That is true. Good point, yeah. But you
Well,
should
I've
see I
never
pull out the
believed I would
fox
be a
picture.
father.
I keep it right in my pocket.
Ah, damn.
Yeah. I went from poor to mediocre to this in a week.
That's quite the critical success.
Let's return and see if everyone is ready then for the night.
Meanwhile, inside, Erin is finishing up the letter, and she says, of course, seeing as Albanian is probably right now trying to convince Senwolf to get him to send someone to replace us here, I'll probably just be able to tell my sister myself a few weeks from now, but you never know. So she seals the letter and hands it to you.
This will be the best letter that I get to deliver.
You're very kind, Master Dwarf. Let me ask you a question. I love you before you are taken away from us on this quest of yours. Do you think that it is selfish of me to want to abandon this place for the safety of my as yet unborn child? I do have a duty to do here. A duty that is bigger than myself, a duty that is bigger than Banyan. I would have your counsel.
I think it's one of the most selfless things that you can do. You're doing it for the good of a child, and I think someone else can take up this post, surely. But you'd be giving someone a chance.
Or transferring the burden.
Well, who says the burden's yours to carry?
In any case, best not let Banyan know that we've discussed this. I think he thinks he's being very secretive about his desires and is afraid of what I'll think, but
It won't ruin his fun.
What about you? You look a little furtive. Are you all right? Looking at
I think so.
Daywin. Sorry, she was looking at Daywin.
Feel much better now, thank you.
And
My
what about
behavior's
you?
a bit
Oh, sorry, go
erratic,
ahead.
but my behavior's a bit erratic, but I'll sort that out.
I'm sure in time.
Yeah.
And are you all right then? She looks at Drifa. You seem a little pensive.
Yes, I'm doing all right. It's been there's been a lot to think about recently, what with all this artifact madness as it is. But no, I'm all right. Yes, I have a lot of hopes for this area up here, even if it feels cold and dire as it's appeared to be. You know, of course, the songs of the dwarves will never go out, and I don't think yours will either.
Well, we're certainly trying to keep it alive. We'll say that the one thing perhaps to remember is an artifact is artifice. It is not real. It is made up, and usually only has the power we grant it. There are much more powerful things in the world. The bonds of fellowship, for one. Whatever this tool of shadow you have encountered is, whatever it does. It was made by mortal hand and can be unmade by the same.
Damon stretches out her hand, and then it just like quickly goes over to a drink. As if she was gonna like reach out to Drifa, but she just chickened out.
And at that moment, Bane and Sedmulf will return to the house. Well then, if you're done with all your gossiping, the two of you, perhaps we can get these fine people on their way. Bane says, well then I guess that's as much as we're going to get out of him today. I don't worry about these. I'll take care of these. Banian will show you the way. Do mind on the way there. You were asking earlier if there were any sort of offerings that might be made. I know for a fact that Ulfrith is very fond of the white stag that can sometimes be seen roaming atop the western hills. If you were to chance upon the white stag, and if you were to find it in you to be able to approach him, he may give you his blessing to take to Ulfrith, and it may help you along the way. You should, however, know that the white stag is very, very skittish and may not take kindly to dwarves, elves, hobbits, or even Dunedain. Approach him carefully. And best of luck.
Will do.
And she'll give you enough soup for a few meals to take with you. They'll give the letter to Irving. They'll let you raid their stores of pipe tobacco if you need it, and dried goods and other things. Banian will walk with you for a little while into the hills, and eventually you will crest one hill, and he will say, continue walking north from here, right through the mist. Keep the lake always. It'll give you 500 leagues or whatever that away to your side, and you should be able to find it readily enough within a day and a half's march up this way. There's another one of us who is currently roaming these hills. You may encounter him. If you do, remind him that, as always, he has a standing invitation to come and rest with us if he wants. But he may be able to give you more information about the surroundings if you do encounter him.
What name does he go by?
Strider. And on that note, we'll end tonight's session.
Bravo.
I think you killed her.
That was so involuntary.
Oh, wow.
And on this note, my friends, we will wrap up what was a amazing evening of role-playing. Thank you so much. You're all so amazing, so wonderful. I had a grand old time kicking back, watching. Hey, Aaron, thank you so much. Appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate the kind words. You're also wonderful. I look forward to next week like nobody's business. Please, let's go around. My friends, let's go around and if you would tell our friends here watching us who you are, where they can find you, what you're up to, what your sign is, any of those important questions that we ask of people that we meet. And we will begin, as we did earlier tonight, with Erin. She has a lopsided beard.
I have a lopsided beard. You
Yes.
can see it now. Hello, it's me, Erin Baumier. Known out there on the internets as Aaron Dippity Doo. I am one half of the Adventure Sling Productions team. We are making New Varden, a D4 based Earthpunk setting system, which we're really excited about. It's coming along really nicely, as it's been the whole time, because we've just been lucky with that kind of a process. But it's going really well. You can check it out at adventuresling.com. We have a quick start you can download and play, which actually, to be honest, has been changed quite significantly since then. But it does give you a show of the idea behind Neovarn, what the world is like, what the dice kind of play like, and know that what we're working on is much more polished than that is. Otherwise, oh no, did I get lost? Otherwise, there's the Adventure Sling podcast. Okay, yeah. Otherwise, you can check out the Adventure Sling podcast. We upload a new episode once a month on the first Friday of the month. Most recently, it was John from Mecha versus Kaiju, which was also a good thing. You should check it out. Otherwise, that's mostly me. Can't wait to see y'all next week.
Cool. Thanks so much, Aaron. Super appreciate you being here and bringing Drifa to us. Very wonderful. Playing as always tonight. Next up, the fox in question. The fox in question, Erica, and I don't mean that in a terrible way. It's
I took it in a great way.
all right, cool.
I love it. Yeah, I'm Erica Ondoin, playing Daywin and this wonderful other fox, Daywin. I may call her Day, so we can kind of like have fun with that.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, I am the creator of the TTRPG Twitch channel Roll D5, where we are here to show and teach people that there are other games out there besides D&D 5e, which is hilarious because it's kind of what we're playing.
Yeah, but this is like
but it's like a home brewish, which is great. Exactly. We are on a break all this month, but we have everything starting up in September, and we have some fantastic things lined up and a new announcement of a new show coming out. So keep an eye out on that. I've got a long-term campaign coming up, so just follow me on social media where I announce everything. And thanks for throwing that on me last second. That Strider.
I totally foreshadowed
can't wait till
it earlier
next
too.
I thought so, but I wasn't sure. I can't wait till next week.
Now you know. Now you know. And knowing is out of the bell. Thank you so much, Erica. Do yourself a favor, people. Follow Erica and see what Erica gets up to. And I was thinking, if your Daywin, your fox should be Nightwin.
I think that's a great idea, and I actually wrote it down because I write down all WYN names that I come across to use, so I'm gonna use that.
See, it's there. It's just there. I mean, it's just there for the taking.
Pretty much.
It's just there for the taking. Thank you so much, Erica. Next up, the one who brings all the letters home, whether or not they are addressed correctly, She's just that good. It is Beth.
Come rain or sleet or snow,
Yes.
I'll get it there. Hi, I am Beth. You can find me on social media at Beth Masco. I am an Aries sun, Virgo moon, Aquarius rising. I don't know.
Well, you're like a salad of
Taurus.
The
signs.
Salad.
time of my birth is in question. Thanks, mom and dad. So I'll never really know. But yeah, I am doing lots of stuff. This lovely game as it continues, which I'm having so much fun with. And then tomorrow night is actually going to be the first night of La Nocturna. It got pushed back to coming up this week. So it's going to be dark and delightful. So we've got some great players and it'll be a good time. And then you can find me typically over at the Wanderer's Haven. I'm part of the production team there. Oh no. Did I get lost? I
No.
got lost, didn't I? No?
No,
Okay.
no.
Great. Computers are doing things. Yeah, I'm over there on Wednesdays. I've been playing in Miko, the OKSGM's Ystera game, and it is a total blast. So come check things out over there. But mostly I'm just stoked to see if Erica survives this new drop of information next week.
Well,
Wait till Galadriel shows up.
oh my gosh.
Cold sweats.
Faint.
Be kind.
I try. I have a rule of just one named character per game.
I'll be fine.
I got to play Bombadil once, so that was pretty funny.
Love Tom.
You know,
That's
good old
great.
Tom. Yep. Speaking of Tom Bombadil, the Tom Bombadil of Guild Superior, without a doubt. Yellow galoshes or no. Dungeon Mr. Ty.
Call them Crocs.
I call it Crocs.
I call that
yellow
a Croc.
That's right.
Actually,
the Bombadil and Crocs. Dungeon Mr.
I
Ty.
actually wrote a one-shot called Old Took's Cuffings. That would be fun to run for any Hobbit fans sometime. Whole different story. I guess there's a bunch of I'm a Cancer sign.
Our
I don't
stream
know.
site is right there for the taking, man.
There you go. Yeah.
And Erica's already signed up for it.
I'm a Cancer. I don't know what my moons and suns are like, but apparently we have a lot of fish in this group among us. I have been playing Senwolf, the Ranger of the North, and I am also the other half of Adventure Sling Productions and creator of New Varden, a truly different system and setting.
Mm-hmm.
And we are quiet right now, other than our podcast, as Aaron mentioned, because we are hard at work putting the stuff together in an actual file that can be put into a printing machine and spit out into the world as an actual physical thing and not just a grand manifestation. That's manifestation reference is an inside reference. If you don't know the system, go check it out.
I know
Aaron said.
manifestation. I got pretty good at dropping them on you last time you played that game over there.
Manifesting event
Yeah,
for the metal win.
Ashley's character.
Loving this.
Swode. That's what it was.
Swode.
Yes.
Swode the swollen. Oh, yeah. Great story there. Anyway, we digress. I am loving this. You know, when I first sat down to play this from the first session, I told myself, I just want to go on it. I want to literally go on an adventure. I want to be in a story. And man, we've got a story going here. I'm loving it so much. And thanks for having me here.
Pleasure is always mine, my friend. Always mine. And yeah, if you ever want to come and run some hobbits, we'll make Chrome hobbits don't take up a lot of room. Probably make a little
Old
hobbit
Took's
hole for you.
Cuffings.
There you go.
I'm literally an elf with a hobbit heart. So
I'm
I
sorry.
will do that.
But I do think that Daywin was actually born a fox and changed into an elf.
Well, we're going to find out maybe a little bit more about this whole roleplay thing.
Yeah, because I have
Later on.
no idea.
No one does.
I love
'cause
this.
I came up with it. Yes, here I am, just rearranging the DNA of Lord of the Rings, man. Tolkien is spinning in his grave, going, "What's that fucking Canadian doing to my work?"
There's been
Seminal work.
worse.
Yeah, we remember the CGI in The Hobbit. All right, I have been Bleakseason. My producing pal Andy, behind the scenes. I'm a Gemini. Andy's a Taurus, apparently. So there you go. That's what we do around here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. You've been absolutely excellent. My players have been absolutely wonderful. We'll be back next week for part 4. 2 more parts left. So next week, same place, same time. Part 4, we will now raid into our good friend Darling Creepshow. Give Darling Creepshow all the guild spear your love. You can afford to give. Darling Creepshow is absolutely phenomenal. She will be with me tomorrow on my own channel as I continue our Vampire the Masquerade game with Darling Creepshow and Lil Bones and Myriad and Mornian. So that's tomorrow on twitch.tv, the Bleakseason. And on Saturday, our friend Shiv is coming in Saturday at 11 CT, 12 noon, to run the first of a 2-session D&D 5e adventure with a whole bunch of great players also. So that's on Saturday. And of course, next Tuesday, whoosh, right back to Heroes of Greyhawk, where last Tuesday, Andy cut off the arm of some poor old defenseless woman. And Andy, you know what I'm talking about?
He would.
She was weaving brass knuckles, but you didn't have to kill her, Andy. But you did what you did, and now we'll never have the recipe of those cookies. But anyways, tune in next Tuesday to find out if Des Adelard, played by Andy, feels any remorse whatsoever for his actions, and if he doesn't, my character, the dwarven Tempest Cleric Lachlan, will stare at him until he does, because that's what we do. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We're gonna go see Darling Creepshow. Thank you, cast. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye.